Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavley. Welcome back to my channel as we continue our forbidden adventures in the Forbidden Lands. Last time Hob tried to murder Lennox, and Lennox put about 5 inches of his sword into Hob's lung. And as he looked around, he made a plea to see if anyone knew about this monster that might be in the area. But yes, there's a complication. So it was a face card of diamonds. So there's a complication. It's a new session, but it's not a new day, so there's no experience or any of that same stuff. It's still the same day. All right, so to determine, let's see, a complication, I guess I could just simply make the complication that someone knows, but they've got to get Hob back. Let's use our Oracle. We'll shuffle these. Whoops. Since it's a new session, if not a new day, we'll shuffle those cards. And let's see what aspect, what thought. Let's see, what's it called? The theme. Yeah, what is the theme of this complication? A Jack of Clubs. So Jack of Clubs is freedom. Okay. Someone knows, but they're not going to tell. They're not going to help unless our hardy adventurers help free somebody. This is probably it. But is it related to the monster? Maybe the monster, maybe they know where it's at because the monster took them. It took this person. That's a possibility. Let's see. Is that? Let's just use our yes, no. King of Diamonds. Yes, but with another complication. So, what's the complication? I think the complication is that they have to rescue them today. They can't find the lair and then go back and make plans with the sorcerer. Yeah. So let's see who is there that needs the help. 8 of clubs. An elven spring or a frailer. Oh, it's a frailer. Huh. I wonder if it's our sorcerer from the town. Maybe the sorcerer from the town has come and realized that something's gone missing. Hmm. Is it the frailer from the town? I keep forgetting his name. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Rami, that's right. Is it Rami who is the frailer from the town, or who's the frailer that is being suggested? 7 of clubs. So that's a no. So it's somebody else. It's a different frailer. And we'll say that this frailer was the frailer part of the wedding? No, we'll use one of those dramatic coincidences as our frailer. Who is our frailer? A king of clubs. All right, so it's a male. Tam. Let's see, it would be an elf name. And we'll just use Tam as a half breed. Tam. All right, so Tam the Frailer comes out, who was drawn to the wedding, also searching for a, let's see, a comrade or an apprentice of some kind. Let's see. So who is he looking for? To see who he's looking for, we'll do a D66 roll and use the GM table. As we go back to our Game Master Guide, a 6-1 is a cook. Okay, so he's looking for a cook, probably his friend. All right, so I was just noticing the name Oracle, because I apparently am too lazy to read the line right above it. But it says Aelanders and half-elf Elvenspring use the Elven table, and half-elf Frailers use the Alderlander names. So, so that's correct. I was using the right ones, and I decided to see who this was, and drew some cards. We had a 7 of clubs and a 10 of hearts. And so that gives us an Aelander female named Maiko. And so I have a feeling that this frailer is not just looking for his cook. He's in love with this woman who happens to be a cook. That's her trade. So Maiko, let me go ahead and jot that in the notes real quick. So this frailer comes out of the crowd, and in a rapid, in hurried speech, he says, "I know, I've seen the monster's hold. It stole my servant. It captured her last night. We woke up, and she was gone. I followed the trails, and to its lair. But it was huge. And then I heard some music from this place. I came running here for help. Can someone please help me? I can show you where this is. Just help. We have to rescue my servant." So looking around, there are some people who are, humans and orcs, kind of looking on curiously, and Lennox, of course, he's there for this, so he's all right, calm down. You can show us where it's at? Yes. It is a bit of a walk, but the music that I heard, the carrying on, traveled pretty far. You can get us there. Yes, please, hurry. All right. And he turns to what's her name? He turns to Alfgar. He turns to Elfgar and says, "What are you gonna do? Are you gonna come? You're gonna come with, or are you gonna carry him back to town? He may survive. You want me to leave him here, helpless in the middle of people that we don't know? He tried to kill me. I don't care." But what I want you is to come and help like you said you would. So let's see. What is she going to do? She really wants to go. She wants vengeance. Hob is kind of a knob because he was being a, obviously, he just tried to murder him. Let's see. Two of clubs. I guess I should have asked the question was whether she's going to take him back. Two of clubs. That's going to tell us I think it's strong, no. Oh, no. Maybe, but the result is not clear. So she's really torn. Even though he did this stupid thing, she's probably known him for a while. Um, Maybe we can get someone here, pay them to haul him there, and then Hob lifts his head up weakly and says, "You're gonna leave me here? Shut up." Will someone take him? Does she find someone to take? Um, I think the chances are pretty good. So, six of hearts. Yeah, that's good. I was going to draw a double. So there are a couple of humans who approach. They say they offer to take. Yes, we've kind of been meaning to drop in on this village anyway, so we'll take them. We'll take care of him, and the um, they take. They say they have a cart, a small cart or something. They help load him up to the cart, and Elfgar says, "Tell Rami that Alfgar said to pay you for your trouble. He will certainly do so." And they look, and so they take Rami off. And Lennox, he's going to say, "This beast will not satisfy itself with Pearlberry. This beast will eventually come after your homes. Is there anyone who will join us?" Is there anyone who will join? I'll give him a make that be. I guess that'd probably be a manipulation roll. Um, yeah. All right. So does his stirring speech help him at all? All right. So um, yeah. So he's got a success, and one of the big humans that was one of the troublemakers, and we'll say the big orc who was who was being a troublemaker. He decides to go. He's going to go for the glory, and Ilfgar will go. Oops, let's recall my cards here.
I will go with you, bloodletter. Ha ha ha! Oh, wondrous stab!
Come on, and he slaps the human on the shoulder. So they they are at least friendly one to another, even if they're not. Maybe they don't approve of humans and orcs getting married, or at least not those two getting married. Um, the woman, the female orc, the bride, she starts weeping in rage because now it's no longer, once again, it's no longer about her wedding, and guests are leaving. And let's see, we've got some kind of frailer type person. And we'll use I guess we can use this guy. He's kind of small. But the groom, he starts yelling at people to get back in place, and the ceremony is just starting again as the um, troop of adventurers gets ready to march out. The human and the orc, they don't want to see it anyway, so they don't care. And Lennox feels kind of bad, but he didn't cause the he didn't cause the outbreak. So they head on, and the frailer knows where they're at. So these two are warriors. Let's see what kind of character the frailer is. Um, okay, now of course most of them are druids or sorcerers, um, or whatever. So see, is he a is he a magic user type? Okay, so that's a yes, but I will go ahead anyway, and just in case it's more interesting, because maybe more interesting, a frailer warrior might be interesting. 5-5. So using our Game Master's Guide as to see what he is, a 5-5. A shepherd. A frailer shepherd. That might make a little sense that that's what he was, or that's what he is now. Maybe he's trying to make a new life with the shepherd because he's in love with this cook, his servant. All right, let's roll up a couple NPCs here and see if anyone particularly fits. Apprentice, fortune seeker, goblin jester. That's kind of a cool one. Halfling mercenary, pilgrim cook, carpenter. And one more. I don't want this to get too boring. Thief, child, thief, diplomat, cook. I guess it might be interesting if he were a cook. Maybe they were both cooks and that's what they were doing. Huh, that's an interesting idea. But he described her as a servant. Is he a cook? Okay. No. So he's going to be, we'll roll random on the typical occupation, the 4. I'm going to hit pause so you're not bored while I set him up. All right, for the sake of brevity, I just decided to make Tam just a sorcerer. Oh, I didn't determine which. Let's see. Blood, death, or the sigils. All right, so his skill is in the signs. Path of runes, which I guess is the sigils, the signs, or whatever. Oops, no, I don't want to save you. All right. And so he goes rushing off, leading them into the woods, looking for the path. Let's see. Zell is going to be, following, helping, because there's no telling this excitable frailer actually knows the way. So he's going to be up. He's going to help, and Just have him do a survival roll for traveling. All right, so I probably shouldn't even roll that because I'll be honest, I don't really want at this point. The adventure, the action is heading towards that cave, that site. And there's somebody who knows the way. They've been there. They lead them. They lead them back through. And let's see. Is it in this hex? I'm going to say it's. I'm going to say it's probably in the next hex. It's going to take a while to get there. Which way does he lead them? Go back to our map. All right. Let's say he leads them into this next hex. And towards this layer. Let's see the nature of the layer. We have some. We have some. Okay. Just to get there, I'm going to say that he is able to lead them to the layer, and as they start getting closer, Zell, he's lifting his nose up, and there's definitely something here, something strange in this area, something that lives nearby. And the orc is,
I smell it too. I smell someone's blood.
so he's looking forward to the fight, even if Lennox is not. In fact, he was not looking forward to fighting this thing at all today. He was just supposed to go find it and then lead a lead a force, or not even maybe be in the force going back. But here's a location, some journey info. We're in the forest. Let's see. Let's give us a roll here. See if there's anything useful or interesting. Okay, so a roll of a 1. Birds are chirping and bumblebees are buzzing. Not for long. I think I'm going to count the opposite of that because there's this monster there. I think everything is quiet, and that sticks out to somebody's. Someone notices that. Instead, let's look at our wilderness oracle. We'll use that instead. That's a little more interesting, I think, in this case. What do we have? A 8 of hearts. Scorched earth. Ooh, I see. Now that might give us that gives us a little inspiration, maybe a hint of something about this monster, because we have to generate it. And I think at this point is probably a good time to generate the monster. I'm going to use a online monster generator, and as the GM, I kind of reserve the right to determine whether the random monster is lame or not. All right, what do we got here? An average gatherer, a speckled orange creature, fin on the back of its head. Okay. Lives near a water hole. Let's see. An average gatherer. Okay. just so y'all don't have to. Listen, a speckled ored creature with a fin lives near a water hole. He wants to be left alone and only attacks if cornered. And it's sensitive to fire. So this is probably not the critter. Let's try again. An average scavenger lives in a comfy den, bound to its territory. Well, this one's not bound to its territory because it's followed. So, all right, this is going to be the process. I'm going to click until I get one that I think fits what we know so far about the monster, but I'm not going to make everybody sit and watch me hit refresh until I get that. So, all right, my random monster generator page didn't let me down. He came up with one that is really perfect, kind of fits everything. Yeah, I'm wondering if it might be a little too tough for these guys, but I've got NPCs, and I think the way I'm going to run the combat is it's just going to be one roll versus one roll, like it says in the Book of Beasts. Instead of giving the monster 2 initiative cards, just going to have the 1. And when it attacks, it's going to randomly attack one of these NPCs or Lennox. So they creep forward as the frailer, the orc grabs the frailer and puts his fanged face in front of his and says,
If we're getting close, you need to be quiet.
all right. And so now they're going to sneak forward, going to scout. I'm going to give Lennox his ability to, he's got scouting. No, actually, I'm going to say also that someone patched him up. There's a lot of people there. Someone patched him up. Let's see. Now it was it? No, it wasn't scouting. It was observe. I thought he had like an observe. No, I guess it was scouting. Yeah. And he gets a +2 because of his scope as they approach. Even though it's wooded, he can kind of scout around, see if he finds a good path or finds any information. All right, so he does find what it is. There's a scorched area. I think this is it. Lennox, he's taking some deep breaths. He doesn't want to fight this monster. And Zell, he gets his bow ready, knocks an arrow. I'm ready. The gods will be with us. The frailer is rummaging around in a little bag for his magical item stuff to get ready. And the warriors, they both get ready, and they're going to try to do a group stealth, try to get as close as they can to this thing, because no one wants to get caught off guard. So they try to sneak while, of course, Zell is ready with his bow. I'm just going to make a stealth roll. It's not going to be very great, but okay, so not not a great one. And the critter. All right. Well, didn't do. Did enough. I'll put it that way. This character sheet has a cool tab on it where you can put in the monster information. So I'm going to take a moment, put that in there, and then you can use the pools and everything. So this is pretty good character sheet. Thank you to whoever made it way back when. All right. Well, that was it's a cool feature. That was a bit of a chore though to put to fill all that stuff in. So I think next time I've got the generator up there. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how good the generator is. I thought I'd seen a monster generator somewhere in the base game, and I can't find it now. So I'm sure I'm just having a fail. I mean, I see, the beastry and all the other generators, but oh well. I've got the info. They creep forward, and of course the orc and the orc and the human uh, warriors they're not being very quiet at all, and of course neither is Elfgar. She's got her shield and everything. She's ready. She's muttering to herself, come on, come on, come on. And Lennox is kind of letting them take the take the lead. He's he's glad that they're having fun. Put it that way. The scorched area is around the ruins of what look like maybe a few buildings of an old village. The stone lower levels of the walls remain, much of it overgrown by grass and filled with bracken, but there are scorch marks here and there, areas scorched, actually a lot of scorched areas according to our uh, result from earlier. So there's a lot of scorched areas among these buildings, burned grass, dead grass, and bushes. The stones are charred, and Lennox, using his spyglass, sees it and realizes this must be the place. And the frailer Tam says, "Yes, yes, they're in. I followed them in one of these ruins, but then I heard a terrible noise, and I knew that I couldn't face the beast alone."
So, you really wanted to save your servant, did you? Weak.
Says the orc warrior, but the frailer ignores him because, again, they're getting close. And as they are approaching, making all this noise, the human warrior leans against a stone or a stack of stone, trying to get a better view of the area, and it falls over, and the stones collapse, and they shoot a big cloud of dust and make a huge noise. And everyone turns to look at him, and in the from one of the buildings, a strange buzzing noise suddenly fills the ruins, and a giant head with huge insectile eyes peers around the corner.
There it is! Kill it!
And the orc, of course, being happy to battle, leads the way, and everybody not wanting to be left behind on their own charges forward and makes ready to attack. Except for Zell, he finds himself a good position. He's looking for a position to where they're not gonna go or get in the way. So since it is basically just two sides, it's going to be two rolls. I'm going to add the monster, and we'll add him just for the turn order stuff. And the initiative, we'll recall if there's any out there, and then shuffle. And then we will deal these two turn order items. Okay, excellent. So we get to go first. That's good. I guess we were quiet enough to get close, or maybe it was entertaining itself, snacking on whatever with the cook lady that it supposedly captured. Who knows? But it's for us. Lennox knows that there's strength in the numbers, so everybody is going to, I guess, move. The warriors are going to move. And maybe they'll be able to keep it trapped or limited into the the where it's at. It's kind of halfway out of these ruins. I mean, it could jump over the ruins, so that's not really going to matter too much. But the Frailer and Zell moves into a place where he can get some good cover while he's attacking. All right, so this is, like I said, we're using a group roll. Zell is or not Zell, but we're going to give +3 to Lennox's attacks. It's his turn, and since it's monsters, unless somebody does something really specific or whatever, it's just gonna, like anything that's like prepare heavy weapon or anything like that. Everything is just going to be attack and defend. And speaking of which, let's attack. All right, where are you at? So he's going to rush forth and clash. We'll use his broadsword. Give him +3. I wonder if there's a limit to that. I think there was a limit, but +3 sounds like a good limit. Fighting a monster, though, you have a bunch of people who could be hitting it. I may have to consider that one. Right, well, we'll see how it goes. I'll just use the companions to give him his bonus dice and to soak up damage. So we'll see. We'll just see how that works. All right. So what are you gonna give us? Holy smokes, that's a pretty darn good roll. All right, so their initial charge, they clash in, and I don't think he's not going to push. Well, maybe he will push, because the worst he could do here is take 1. You know what, I think he will push. In that initial charge, everyone clashes. Strikes at the same time, so that's going to be 1, and then 5. 1, 5, 0. Okay, so cool. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes against this creature as they run in, hacking and slashing and screaming and dive dog. I'm gonna say in this sense, um, the monster can't really dodge. I mean, it's kind of big and it's in this doorway anyway. Um, so I don't know if something like this would even try to dodge. It's just kind of, especially against, you know, 4 people. So it's going to, it has an armor of 5. All right, well, there's something about this little uh, table here. It's not, it's either adding something. I don't know. I want it to, the total's supposed to be 5. It has 5 armor. Okay, that's good. So as they leap and attack, trying to cleave it in under a rain of blows. All right, so it cancels out one attack. All right, so it cancels out that attack from the push. So it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. However, we must keep in mind that this monster also regains die 3 each round. Which they, of course, don't know that yet, but but it's a good hit. I mean, they just really go tearing into that thing. And as it is screaming, blood, insect blood, and cracks in the carapace are getting are showing up. Pieces of its carapace are flying. Let us see which of its attacks it uses. Number 2 attack. Claw attack. The beast slashes across an adventurer's body with sharp claws. 8 base dice. Weapon damage 1. Victims that are hit are also knocked prone. So this is going to be somebody that's right in front of them. So it's going to be one of those 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just use a D4. 3. So it is Lennox, of course. Well, you know, you rolls your dice, you takes your chances. All right, 8 dice and weapon damage 1. All right, so there's 1. Form an attack. Let's see. I think it said that generally speaking, a monster's attacks can't be dodged or parried. Let me peruse the rules real quick. Okay, yeah, dodge and parry. As a general rule, monster attacks can't be parried, but they can be dodged. You know what I think? I think he'll try to dodge that because he doesn't want to get slashed up by some wacky monster. Now he's going to try to leap out of the way. He's just going to go for the full dodge so he doesn't get hit. And that is a move, which he's got a pretty decent move. All right. So that's good. He's got 2 successes. He leaps out of the way. You know, really probably since the penalties only reduce skill dice, I wouldn't have changed it too much to do that. Oh, dang it! I guess the monster sheet I changed when I up here there's the field for the monster. I changed it there, but apparently that's um, the same field. So my character's name is now Bug Eyes. Let's go Lennox. Change that back. I don't remember what his last name was. I'll have to go look that up. All right, so he leaps back out of the way. And, well, next turn. Since he leaped out of the way, I'm gonna reduce. He's getting up, and only because it kind of makes the mechanics a little different because there are 4 people attacking this monster, so it makes the mechanics a little bit different. So instead of using his actions, or anything like that, I'm just going to reduce 1 die to simulate. And he also, this bug guy, he regenerates die 3 per round. All right, so just 1 for him that time, so that's good. Well, good for us. All right. So it looks like, okay, so it looks also like there's some kind of it looks like the strength, the stats and stuff are somehow linked too. So um, good to know. That I guess that monster tap's broken somehow. At least as far as like recording health and whatnot. So he gets up, he leads the way, he attacks. Again with the broadsword. I had been giving him +3 before, this time because he's getting back on his feet. He's only going to get that. And they continue the assault. All right, 1, 2 attacks. I think he's gonna push. I think he's gonna push because this thing is, this thing's carrying on, and hopefully he's not gonna regret this. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 strikes, and Bug Eyes rolls his armor, which is the same as his. So does he stop any of that? Okay. He does not. So that critter takes 5 spots, and he's down. That actually went a little better than I thought. Except that as they heave and hack into this beast, cutting it open, splitting the carapace, bug guts flying everywhere, it stumbles back, and then it explodes in a fireball, a juicy fireball, because this monster was possessed by a demon. And from the guts emerges a feathered humanoid demon. It is kind of, it says feathered humanoid. Now this, the original form had a true form attack, which was a possibility where the demon splits out and explodes. Um, I don't know if being hacked into pieces and then forcing to come out would necessarily would make it explode, but it seems kind of dramatic, so we'll see. Um, One thing I am going to do though is I'm going to make a fear attack for each of the NPCs, and to see if they get broken. All right, because that would be it just seems like a better way to play it than just make one fear attack and have everybody be broken or nobody be broken. So I'm going to do that. So it's a seven dice fear attack. And I'll just use his chart here. All right, so 7 against Lennox, and everybody sees it as this monster, as this demon pops out of the remains of this insectoid. Kind of reminds me of maybe those clips, those videos where the giant worm parasites come out of the praying mantis. That's pretty creepy. All right, so 7 against Lennox. All right, 7 against Alfgar. Okay, so she takes 3. I've got her stats up here. For the village. Alfgar, wits to okay, so she's broken. She's broken with the fear. She wanted revenge for the slaying of her parents, but she didn't know it was a demon. Ah! And so she's broken. I'll just mark her broken real quick. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, so she's broken. That's good. All right, the 7 for the orc. So he takes 1. I'm sure he's got more than 1 wits, probably 2. And 7 for the other human. Okay, so nothing. And Zell, we'll roll Zell. Okay, so Zell, he actually will take 1 wits. And our Frailer. What happens to our Frailer? All right, nothing there. So it pops out, and she screams, ah! Let's see. Should it explode out? Yeah, why not? We'll make it all demony and stuff. So true form. Okay, 9 base dice, weapon damage 1. All right, so we'll start with Zell. 9 base dice. Okay, so weapon damage 1. I think in this case, because it's kind of just like a splattery goo or something. I think that an armor roll is appropriate. So the the goo splashes onto Zell, but the it doesn't get through his leather armor. It looks like it maybe wanted to have caused some damage with that bane there, but it didn't penetrate. So it just puts a maybe even a fancy burn pattern across the chest and shoulder. All right. And you know what? Just for the sake of being bloody and destructive, I'm going to do the same thing with all the other NPCs. I'm not going to do Zell or the Tam, the Frailer. I think they're probably far enough away that they're blocked. All right, so let's roll for. Oh, let's see. We need to clear. That's a 9. Let's go ahead and roll for Alfgar. Okay, so she gets hit. Does her armor help her? No, in fact, part of her armor gets dissolved, but she's already broken from the whole experience, so um, that's kind of a moot point. And then for these two, Orc and the human. Okay, so the human, he gets hit twice. We'll give him armor. We'll just give him an armor value of 5. All right, so his armor, it did penetrate, so his armor is reduced by 1, but the armor did help him, so it stopped one of those. So he will take, what was it, 2? Okay, so weapon damage 1, but he also takes 1 point for die 3 turns. How many turns is that? 1 turn. All right. So I'll just mark that. I'll just mark that over here on his token. So he starts with 4. And you know what? I'm just gonna mark it. So I'm just gonna mark it so I don't have to worry about trying to keep track of it next turn. All right, so the demon explodes out of this body, hurling this melty, toxic goo, shakes its feathers, spraying it even further along. Somewhere in there's also maybe a hostage. Maybe the hostage has already been taken care of, or prisoner. We'll see. And Ulfgar drops her sword and her shield and screams as she falls back, crawling away as fast as she can from this monster. Let's do a D66 and see what hers is. 1 and a 3. Trembling. Okay, so no critical super long-term effects, but she is out of the fight for now. She, as it's broken her mind, just the whole sight. She was ready to fight a monster, but this demon popped out from within, and she did not deal with that very well. All right, so this demon was generated as having, it has a fire attack and it has a heavy weapon. Let's determine what that heavy weapon is. Roll 1d6. 6. A trident. Well, that's interesting. All right, so this demon pops out, and it's got a huge trident that looks like it's made out of basalt and brass.
Kill that one too!
Screams the orc. And we are at our hour mark, but we're gonna gotta finish the fight. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? All right, so we're gonna add them in. And I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say it's the same, uh, even though it's the same battle. I think we're gonna redo the. I'm going to redo the cards. Let's see, recall. Okay, already all in deck. So deal the cards and turn order items. Okay, so Lennox still gets, their team still gets the advantage. As it has stumbled kind of back in, Lennox and the human and the orc press their attack while Alfgar has scooted back to this wall trying to get away. Ah! And so now that we're reduced, now we still have these two helping. I think since he's still shooting and the Frailer's still doing something, I don't know. Making signs, carving initials on the wall, whatever. But to use the group mechanic still. We'll give him. Oops. Update for his broadsword, and let's say +2 for his attack. Oof. Okay, so one hit. Does he want to? I don't know. Does he want to push? That seems a little risky this early on. But so does getting his. Yeah, he's not gonna push. All right, so he's done 2 damage. And I'm gonna say this is a humanoid. I think that the humanoid can go ahead. He's got a trident, so I'm gonna assume it has some kind of ability with that. So now this says it's had a 2-handed sword. Well, we'll use the trident anyway. And let's see if the critter, see if this demon. Okay, so strength of 5. Move 1, sneak. Oh, actually, let's roll to see which one it uses, 1 or a 2. This it can use to parry or dodge. Let's see, it's got move 1, agility 3. It doesn't look like it has melee skill, so we'll just use the 5 base dice as it tries to parry the attack. Tries to fend off the multiple attackers. All right, so it does manage to parry the blows with its trident, ching ching, keeping the people back. And in response, it will do a 1 or a 2, 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6. All right, so it's going to do a fire attack. And who is that attack going to hit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of course, it's gonna go after my guy. All right, so the fire attack is a base 9 if it hits. Okay, so I'm not sure that armor would necessarily help against this one. Yeah, I guess it would. I guess it would. I mean, you know, certainly, firefighters put on clothes. These aren't firefighter clothes, but you know what I mean. All right, so that's 9 base dice. As fire shoots out, hey, look at that! Fire shoots out. It tries to send fire off towards Lennox, but the orc shoves it. The orc gets in the way. The human is lashing at it, and the demon is unable to complete its attack. So now we're back to the good guys. We're going to say that the frailer is doing something in there. He's doing some kind of magic. So we'll bump that up. We'll bump that back up to a +3 as the frailer finally manages to earn and spend some willpower to help in the fight. Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's good. Does he want to push? Does he want to push? Well, it is a pretty big demon. It's a pretty good hit already. And he would really only take 1 point. So I think he will push. We'll push. So that leaves him with 1 base die. 3 of those. Okay, great. So we've got now his sword takes a clunk. So we reduce that bonus to +1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And once again, we'll give the demon a chance to parry as it tries to hold off all of the attackers. None. Does he want to push? No, I don't think so. So it doesn't want to push. And what we got? What do we have for armor? Armor 5. I wonder if that has already applied or not. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just use armor 5 because that's the stat. All right, so stops 1, cancels 1 out. It's natural feathers, so it doesn't damage the armor. But some feathers definitely go flying as the heroes lay into this beast, into this demon. All right, so that one goes away. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. 5 hits on this monster. What is this monster strength? 5. So they keep on. The demon is unable to get fire effectively burning anybody, and the while it's able to to defend some of the many incoming blows. It just can't stop the onslaught. It finds itself backed up into the corner of these ruins, and this monster, while certainly deadly against maybe lone travelers or people who are not ready, villagers walking around at night picking dandelions or whatever, under the combined assault of these heroes, the monster is driven into the corner. The orc buries an axe into its neck. Lennox drives his broadsword in there, and just for grins, let's see what. No, not you. Let's see what kind of final critical blow this beast gets. All right, a 4 and a 3. I think that's the lung thing again. Four and a 3. We'll say he was stabbing. Oh, pierced eye. Normally not a critical or fatal attack, but since it is dead, since it is broken, and since they're slaying, Lennox leaps forward, and as the beast is still struggling under its wounds, Lennox drives his broadsword through the creature's eye and straight into its brain. It twitches and hisses, and more feathers start to fly. And then it collapses. And he puts his foot on the humanoid, not quite human, but humanoid face. Now that he can look at it closer, even with a sword in it through its eyeball, there's something about it. It's off the perspective, the proportion. Something is just disturbing to look at. So he puts his foot on the creature's face and draws his sword out. Everyone looks around, waiting for it to. Everyone backs up, waiting for it to to blow up again or something. But nothing happens. It stays there. Dead. Strange demon blood dripping from its wounds. We did it! Good job! And the frailer, he comes running. He's looking. He starts looking. Is she there? Is she there? Do you see her anywhere? Okay, so this demon was in the monster form. What are the chances, I wonder, that this woman is still alive? I don't know. Obviously, he had to run a ways to get it. But on the flip side, the demon didn't just kill the girl in camp, or the monster back when the demon was possessing it. So maybe the monster was wanting to maybe eat it in silence, maybe maybe do something lascivious, maybe torture, sacrifice to some other demon, maybe he's sacrificing her to himself. Who knows? All right, so I don't know, so we will use our oracle, our yes no oracle. Is this lady, Mako was her name, I think, is Mako alive? And I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm just going to give it a 50-50 because I don't know what the demon was doing with it. Is she alive? And then if it does turn out that she is alive, and there's some kind of complication on the effect, it'll probably be that she's in very bad shape, tortured, um, assaulted, something like that. 10 of clubs. Oh goodness. I think that's like a hard no. No. She is not alive. Alas. So the frailer comes running in. Is she? Where is she? Do you see her? And this woman is, it's hard to identify. Bloody clothes are on the ground, torn to shreds. But there is what looks to be a woman spread eagle up against the wall, her skin peeled, her abdomen ripped open, her eviscerated body hanging limply backwards over a stack of rocks in the corner, a stack of stones from the ruins in the corner. There's not much left of her face, only tatters of bloody hair left on a peeled skull. And Tam, the frailer, falls to his knees and crawls forward. And has a full-fledged half-elven come apart right there. Everyone looks away, partly because it's very gruesome. It's very gruesome. I mean, come on, 10 of clubs is very gruesome. And even though that no one knows who this guy is, he just ran into the wedding, which was already having enough drama, screaming about his servant, who obviously is little more than a servant to him. And off goes the adventure. So to leave the poor man to his misery, these two come over and check on Alfgard. And they help her to her feet. Is it dead? Is it dead? It's dead. Believe me. And he holds up his broadsword with a grin. I put this right through its brain. It's gone. I'm so embarrassed. And then she starts sobbing because now she is completely embarrassed. Miss Gung Ho warrior, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then she panics and crawls away and curls up into a fetal position effectively. Zell reaches an arm out and says, do not be ashamed. You fought bravely. That creature was terrifying. Nobody else went crawling away crying. We were all terrified. Oh, stop it! And then she, still shaky, she goes away from them to go get away from their well-meaning comforts. Lennox looks at Zell. Zell looks at Lennox, and well, let's look for loot. Who knows how long this thing's been here? Good idea. All right, so this is kind of a bigger monster. I'm not really sure how to determine what kind of loot would be here, but this monster has obviously been here for a while because it, was terrorizing the village before it moved. So let me browse my books and see what kind of loot we can get real quick. All right. Well, I've just decided I'm going to treat this place like a lair, since seems like it's been going back and forth here, maybe. And not to spend too much time fussing over what it is. So I'm going to say that they are... I'm going to say there's one kind in each. So there's a simple find in a lair. And of course, they're going to, the other adventurers who came with, they're going to want to share, of course, and rightfully so. They were very helpful. All right, 4x6 copper coins. All right, 13 copper coins. And next we have valuable finds in a lair. 4 and a 3. That one's a little more promising. Ooh, a silver box worth 4x6 silver. And precious finds in a lair. Oh, that one's good. Precious finds in a lair. A golden statue. Heavy. All right, it's worth 7x6 gold. $30 gold. That one's pretty decent. All right, is anyone here interested in preserving the golden statue as it is? Man, that was close to getting an artifact. Like for any kind of religious or superstitious reasons. I'm gonna say probably not. So I'm gonna do a yes no. Does anyone want to maintain its integrity for personal reasons? I'm gonna draw 2 cards. Okay, 4 and a jack. And I think in this case we'll go with the jack as a no. So no one really does. All right, so so I'm going to say that the odds are unlikely. Draw 2 cards and take the most negative result. Okay. So no, they are not interested in doing that. And the human warrior says we should maybe make sure we split everything. Give the poor guy there some.
Of course, he fought with us. And he certainly has had a bad day.
All right, so we're going to do some math, and they take to hacking this statue into pieces to divide it up as equally as possible between everybody. So let me do some math, and I'll be right back. All right, so Lennox gets the gold head and tosses it in his pack, worth 5 gold, and they split up the coins, and they make sure that the frailer sees they've left him a pile, an equal pile. The Frailer is very, very distraught. He barely acknowledges them. And when they suggest that he come back with them or travel with somebody, because now they're going their separate ways, because the other two NPCs, they don't want to go to the wedding, assuming it's even still on, and our three guys are heading back to Pearlberry. But he just sits there staring, kneeling by the mutilated remains of his love. Shouldn't we do something? What are we going to do? Drag him? You want to try to drag a grief-stricken sorcerer someplace he doesn't want to go?
Good fight, human! Ha ha ha!
And he slaps Lennox on the back and starts trotting off into the forest his own direction, towards home. And the human warrior gives the Frailer a final pat on the shoulder and heads off to wherever he's from. And our three heroes, with a final look at the Frailer and the dead body of the demon and the remains of the poor woman, head back. Elfgar stares at the woman for a long time. Are you okay? Are you ready to go? That's exactly how my mother looked when we found her in the old village. I want to go and bury my sword in that monster's face, but I don't deserve that. You were an important part of the battle. We couldn't have done it without you as well, all of us fighting together. You have certainly earned the right to go stick your sword in that demon's face. No. It's enough to know that it's dead. It's enough to know that I was part of the group that killed it, that I had an active hand in avenging my parents' death. And I thank you. I didn't even want to fight it today. It's been a very strange day. Let's get back to the village. And since they've really only traveled a short, well, relatively short, they've gone 2 hexes. I'm going to say that there's enough time left in the day, especially since they're familiar with how they got here and everything, and they have the landmark of what is probably the reception, so to speak, after the wedding, that they are able to make time back to Pearlberry with no issues. With no issues. All right, so there we go. So it's one of those things I'm trying to not do that. They make it back to Pearlberry just as the sun is going down and just as the more unnerving noises of the darkening forest begin to echo through the twilight. They, she, oh, gosh, should they take the thing's head back? No, they don't want to take that thing's head back. They'll just, there's enough. She'll be trusted enough. They immediately go to Remy's place and explain what happened, describe the death of the monster. And Remy sits back, relieved. He asks Elfgar over and over, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Yes, it's dead. It was the beast. And Lennox here was the leader. He led the way. He led towards the defeat. He did a great job. Very well. Rest. Go check on Hob. He's sorely wounded, but I think he'll pull through. And I will meet with you tomorrow, Lennox, and I'll tell you what I know of Princess Nia and the Heart of Madness. All right, and we'll cut it there, which is really a pretty satisfying place to stop. A little over, hour and a half. Try not to go so long, but you got to go with the story. Thank you for joining with our Forbidden Adventures, and we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.